Fancy seeing you here.
Hello, sir. How's it going?
All right.
Living the dream. How are you doing, John?
I'm all right. Yourself?
Long time no see. We're moving in a minute, kids.
What? I was seeing you 2 minutes ago when we stood over there.
I know, but you're all sweaty there. I've had to wait for your shirt to dry. Right, anyway, guys, girls, ladies, widows and wrong uns. Right, we're here now. We're doing something a little bit different today. We've had to wait, not for the sun, and not for anything. I've had to wait for his shirt to dry because he had loads of...
Still there.
He's still got... He looks like a dirty, sweaty old man.
A dirty, sweaty old man.
We're doing something a little bit different today here on Screaming Cockwombles. We're doing a review of something because every so often something comes along you think, oh, what a cracking bit of kit. Or maybe not. Or is it? Or maybe it's not. Maybe it is. Well, we're going to have a look at it anyway. You can decide what you think. Okie dokie. Right, so we're going to have a look at the MONTEK X1000. There's one. There's another one there. That's the prototype. We'll come on to that later on. This is my old mucker John. I've known John for 12 years because funnily enough, I work with John. And John trained me 12 years ago. I'm an instructor, he's an instructor. I just happen to be better than him now. So, you know.
He's seeds.
So John's come all the way from somewhere over there where they make Henderson's relish. What's it called?
Sheffield.
That's it, Sheffield, where we get the venison from, you know what I'm saying? If you've seen the other videos. So, anyway, we're going to move on to this MONTEK X1000. It is a... what do they call it? What's the correct title?
Solar generator, but people don't like that because it's not technically correct. So it is a solar rechargeable power pack.
A solar rechargeable power pack. So we're going to move on to that and have a look. We're going to give you all the specs. We're going to go, because I've had mine now, getting on for 3 months. I've been taking it out and I've been putting it through its paces to see how it fared up. And obviously we'll look at that and we'll go through all the details of that as we go through this video. So go and get yourselves a cup of tea, sit down, put your feet up. Here we go. Right guys, so there she is. It's a bad boy. Yeah, I've actually bought this, so just for your info guys, I've actually paid for this. I don't get it for free, yeah, or out like that, and I'm not getting out for doing this. Yeah, I'm doing it for favour for my mate John, because I've worked with him for 12 years, and I bought one off him. I said, oh, we'll get together, and after I've used it for a while, and we will, I'll do a review of it if you want. Yeah, so if it's good, I'll let you know. If it's bad, I'll let you know. If it's a bag of shite, I'll let you know. Yeah. If it's brilliant, I'll let you know.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okie dokie. Right, so the old MONTEK X1000. As I say, guys, I've been using it for about 3 months now, and it's time for a review, isn't it? Okie dokie. So we'll start off with. Do we want to do any specifications, John? Because you're more of a specification man than I am when it comes to this. I know the basics, but you know more about that than I do, don't you?
Specs if you want. We can do specs if you want.
So, we'll do specs, mate. What do you know about this? What do you do? Specticales?
What do I know about it?
What do you know about it?
Well, a fair bit, because I'm a UK distributor for it, but there you go. Right, it is a portable power pack, and you can carry around wherever you want to go. AC electricity and DC electricity. So for powering, I don't know, what do you power? Fridge?
Mate?
You don't use a lot of AC stuff, do you?
I've got a fridge, but I'm using this also if the power went down, like in the 1970s when we had power cuts.
Oh, are you?
This can power up to, well, yeah, probably everything I've got in my house, bar the kettle and the microwave and the toaster probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys know what Chris does. You've seen his other videos, but I mean, for this thing here, slight difference for me. A little bit of a camper van parked over there. I use that for weekends away in my camper van, but I run a lot of AC stuff off it as well, particularly my toaster. I love a bit of toast in the morning, and charging up by solar, so I can use it more than a weekend. I've had 4 days out of it at one point, but it's pretty much for carrying around electricity, basically. Specs wise, if you want to go into that now, yes, ABS case, which is shockproof, and perhaps somewhere else you might want to have a look on YouTube. A guy called Tom Botek, Hobotek is the channel. He's done in-depth reviews on these, and to find out if it was actually rugged, he threw it off the back of his pickup truck. I mean, that's there to see, and it still worked.
He kicked it off the back of his pickup truck.
He did kick it off, didn't he? And it did still work. So rugged and also waterproof to a certain extent as well. For solar charging only, but not waterproof while it's in use, because these flaps have to be open when it's in use. You can see that. They've got to be open in use, but that is actually a waterproof connection, so on solar charging it is actually fine to leave it outdoors. Right, if you want to hold that round there, Chris, I'm going to get rid of that drink before it goes flying.
We're going to knock it over, aren't we?
Yeah,
because I've got a wibbly wobbly shooting table.
We might as well cover that side.
Right, as soon as we're on it.
And I'm going to go around so I can see what I'm pointing at.
I'll hold that up because
Cheers,
we haven't got a studio. We'll have to make do with what we've got. Right, away you go, sir.
Right, that being main power switch for the whole unit. This one being one of the cooling fans. There's actually two fans in here. One on the other side down by Chris there that draws air in, and that one sends the warm air out. Chris has currently got his fridge plugged in, standard cigarette socket there, 12 volts at 10 amps. The other DC outputs, pair of 5521s there at 7 amps, pair of 5525s at 10 amps, 100 watt power delivery. It's pretty good on a unit like this. They're generally 60s, but 100 watts there, and it can actually achieve that. Couple of standard USB-A sockets, and that also being AC input with a standard UK 3-pin plug to the figure 8 type. Couple of 100 watts AC in. And later on we'll show you how you can do DC in as well. You can either do DC solar into that, or there's a little gadget we're going to show you later on that can actually dual charge this thing as well. Do you want to flip it round, Chris? I'll do the other side.
Certainly will. You just want to mention that which of the output, which of the input, and make sure you don't stick the input in the output.
Do you know what? Somebody actually dropped a clanger with that.
Yes.
Yeah, good point. Somebody did actually drop a clanger with that. That is the only DC input. You should never ever try to input on any of these. The 5521s are not input. The 100 watt USB-C is not input. Neither of those and neither of those. So the only inputs you've got is the AC there and the DC there. Thanks for that, mate. You want to flip it round?
Yes. Oh.
Have you got your flappage open at the other end?
I will have in a minute. I'll just unplug that Mary Mongo image and shut that flap for a second while we pop this one. And how much does it weigh, John?
Are you alright, lad?
No, the trouser accident then.
11.5 kilos.
Yes, that's 11.5 kilos. That's
So
heavy.
I can't actually. This one's a little bit heavier because you've got your solar panel in there, aren't you? Yeah,
I know.
so
My elbow's telling me that now.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, where you go, sir?
Anyway, we saw the power switch on the other side. You would then use that additional switch if you wanted to use AC output, should I say? Standard 3-pin plug. Pure sine wave inverter as well, so it won't damage any sensitive equipment.
So it's not a modified sine wave.
Not modified, it's pure sine wave. We can get 1,000 watts out of there according to the specs, but it will actually run at 1100 if you want to push it that little bit more. No more than that. And a 2-pin shaver style socket again. Now the only problem with the UK model, they couldn't actually fit 2 of those in, which they can on the US model because their sockets are a bit smaller. Also, there's a handy pocket inside there where you can store all the cables that come with it. Chris will be showing you them in a short while. And you can see there one of the rubber seals. So when that door's closed, it is actually water resistant. And the rubber seals carry on around the lid as well. Little LED light on that side. I don't know if you're camping or whatever, it comes in handy when you want to find your black bag. Chris will tell you more about that again later. Now the cable storage, guys, all the cables do live in there, but just a word of warning, the input fan for cooling is down the bottom of that pocket as well. When it's running on AC, or it's running any AC loads, the fans are running, you do need to have both of these flaps open and the cables out of there so that you can actually get a good throughput of air through that. Alright? Right, lad, are you showing them the screen?
I will do. I'll just one more thing now. If you do buy one, if you ever buy one of these, when it turns up and you unbox it and take it out of the box and you go, there's no cables with it, they're in here. They'll be in there. So you'll be going, I didn't get no cables with me fancy turbo charging thingy. They're in there. Alright, happy days. Righty-dokey, before we move on to the next bit of this fantastic review, yeah, I'm going to pop this open, take all the cables out that are in this little cubby hole here of what you get with it. So, you get obviously your 3-pin AC when it decides to come out.
You alright with that?
No. It's got itself in a position where it doesn't want to come out easily. So what I'm going to have to do is
To the studio.
yeah. So cut that out and start again.
No, just keep going. Well done, mate.
Look at that. I stuffed that in there incorrectly. But if you put it in precariously and the way it should go in, nice and tidy, you probably have an easier job of getting it out. Right, so that is your 3-pin AC socket, which has got a figure of 8 plugged straight in. As you see, there's no brick. So the transformer or whatever it is,
In the box.
he's already in there. So there's your AC, 3-pin, obviously that's British, yeah. If you do get one sent to America, John, you will get the American version.
It's a strange little 2-pin thing.
2-pin thing with a little pokey in the hole bit at the bottom.
Yeah, that poke,
like that.
yeah, a bit
like
odd,
that.
innit? Yeah.
How's it go, John?
Ours is better, innit?
Like, yeah, we got 3-pin. Anyway, back. We have got the DC in from MC4 connectors, which is obviously the solar. We'll show you that later. So obviously it's DC. You've got the red, which is positive. Yeah, black is negative. And that aviation socket there, I wonder why was that poking out the side? Everything else is flush on this, and I thought, why is that poking out? Or it's not flush with the actual box itself. And then I realised the reason to put that on and the connector stuck out a little bit, because that is waterproof. Good little touch.
And it took you 3 weeks, didn't it, to figure
It
that?
did.
Yeah.
I thought, why is that?
Flying school.
Right, he's gone. Stars will go whizzing past in a minute. So it's waterproof, isn't it? Your DC in, obviously. If it rains on this, you're all right. Okie dokie. And the other one, if I can get this out, is your standard cigarette lighter socket, guys. And again to that DC charging point there. Okay, so that can plug into your 12-volt DC in your car, and the likes of, to charge it. So there are your 3 cables that you come with, and they're in that little cubby hole in there, guys. So remember, when it does turn up and you go, I've got no cables, check in there first. Happy days.
Happy days. Bloody marvellous.
Right, so this is the display. Obviously, you can see there it's got 84% battery left. And that's telling us no watts DC out. So it's telling us nothing's getting powered by this at the moment, DC wise. Right. So John is going to plug the AC in. Yeah. And
Are you keeping that belching, or are you going to edit it out?
I might start again. Right, that's what because I've done a man burp. I didn't even know I'd done it, it just come out and he noticed. So we're back to the display now. We're on the display, look, there's the display. Hi display. Yeah,
Spielberg's got notes on you, has he?
Are you going to plug it in, John, or what?
Yes, yes.
Go on, get it plugged in. So this is AC, so this is what you'd plug in your house.
We've got a slight problem though, we're in the middle of nowhere, so I'm using the old MONTEK as an AC output to that.
And there you see, power input, 209 watts going in from the other MONTEK, which is coming out of the AC socket on there. And when you're doing that, if you're charging via the AC, you must always have these 2 flaps at the side down. See the 2 flaps? I know you can't see them there, but if we move back slightly, you can. Okay, the 2 flaps must be down because the fans start up. One brings air in, the other pumps the one out. Okay, so you've got a little fan going there to tell you that the fans are going, but you'll hear them anyway. And there is a light, whether you want to call it a torch or a flashlight, if you're in the good old US of A, that's in America. So if we turn that on, the little picture of a torch or a flashlight, depending on which side of the pond you live, comes on there telling you your light's on. But if it's dark, there's a very good chance you'll know your light's on. Right, so we're going to stick the DC output in, which is basically, it's running my fridge now. That's an Alpicool C20. Okay, so that's gone in and it's drawing if you can see there, it's drawing 45 watts. So it's taking 45 watts, but as you can see, things can be powered while it's being charged as well. So you can have it on charge and you can power stuff at the same time, because apparently there's some out there that don't have that.
Known as pass-through charging.
There you go.
And that's currently doing AC pass-through charging. It can also do DC pass-through charging as well. So basically power going in, power going out at the same time.
Fantabulous. So 34 watts it's drawing now, and again it's putting in 209 watts from the AC socket. Or John's other MONTEK X1000. Right, moving on to the next one.
Right guys, just getting back to this DC panel again. Chris has just made me a pointy stick. He's just whittled that with his chopper, which has some technical name. What is it?
It's a Frälkniven F1. Made in Sweden by Swedish people.
Excellent. Right, so just going back to that side, the old DC side, everything on there, DC output, is regulated to 13.8 volts. So you have absolutely no problem running compressor fridges. You can get a 13.8 volt right down to full discharge, so your fridge is not going to pack up when this is down to a low percentage. Something else we're going to be talking about on this panel as well, if you can see actually those two at the minute, that being the DC input, that being the AC input. You saw Chris charging earlier on with the AC, a couple of 100 watts going into there. On the DC side, you can input up to 360 watts if your solar array is big enough. And also a little trick as well is that you can do both of those together. So if you're in a situation where you've got access to a wall socket and some solar, or even a clever little gadget I'm going to show you in a short while, you can get up to 560 watts if you're using both of these to full capacity. Something else about charging while we're on the subject. If you're doing AC only charging, you can charge this from flat in about 5 hours. Solar charging, if you're using the maximum 360 watts input, and that can be anything from 12 to 70 watts, maximum 12 amps. That'll take about 3 hours if you're using the maximum capacity. The car charger that Chris showed you not so long since when he took the wires out, about 10 hours on the input on that, because it's been reduced down a little bit. Now the original unit that I've got, the prototype one, did have some problems with the car charger because the input current was set too high and it was melting the cigarette plugs on the old one. But this one is a 2022 retail model. That's been sorted out. 15 amp input on the old one. They've knocked it down on this one to make it safe so it doesn't do that, but of course it takes longer. 10 hours on car charging. Now the fastest way of doing it, if you're doing that AC combined with maximum DC input, 2 hours charge from flat.
Right, so yeah, what I've been using it for, I've bought myself a fridge, and it's a compressor fridge. It's not a cooler box because they're a load of Jodrell bank. So I've got myself a fridge, and I've been running that this week because it's been rather hot here in sunny Blighty, and I've been having cool drinks in the back of my car when I've been at work. And
Work?
Did
I not train you anything 12 years ago?
No, that's the place I go to get the money to give you for this.
It's not work though, is it?
It's not work, it's dossing about pretending to work. Yeah, something like that anyway. And obviously I've been charging my phone off it. I take it with me in the car. I've been running my DVD player off it. But back to the fridge, I did a little test. I put this on 100%, put it in the car, put the fridge in at 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, and I looked at it the next day after 24 hours, and if I remember rightly, I had 54% left on this. That was running a compressor fridge. So happy days. So you probably get a few days out of that on a fridge before charging. But of course, you can charge it without AC. Solar. We'll move on to that next.
360 watts.
360 watts. That's the maximum it'll take? What?
This is not very professional.
You're having an oily rag?
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright, don't worry about it. It's not a very professional channel.
Oh.
Yeah, I've only said shite once.
Yeah, true.
I haven't got going yet. Yeah. What's this?
What? A lump in it, a lump of plastic.
A brick.
Are we doing it now?
I don't know.
Well, as mentioned earlier, I mean, you were waffling on about solar just now, but you can simulate solar with that. So as I showed before on the sockets, you can charge standard AC, and that can also go in the AC, which is then going to give a DC output from this 400 watt brick into the solar socket, charging with this and that standard AC up to 560 watts, 2-hour charge. But that's an optional extra.
2-hour charge?
2 hours.
Is that all?
Yeah, from flat.
That's good.
But you need one of these, or 360 watts of solar to be able to do
Right,
that.
I haven't got 360 watts. I've got a 120 watt panel, which I've bought, but we'll go through the panel because inside here is a solar panel. 80 watt solar panel to be precise. We'll have a look at that in a minute, but we'll move on to some solar stuff now. But on the first time, you finish your oily rag.
Doing it.
Yeah, because if I said he's smoking a fag, that, you know, in America that means something completely different, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, just put my pants up. My pants are falling down. We don't want that on the video, do we? Right.
I've been here and I've not moved. I never moved.
Well, your stains have dried, mate. It was like a extra pair of breasts. Nice one. Man boobs.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on from man boobs to solar panels. Here comes road sweeper. Tractor. I used to like tractors. I'm an ex-tractor fan. Never mind, solar panels. I bought this one off Amazon. This is 120 watt.
Right in the plums.
Right in the old gonads. And I've been charging it with that. Maximum I've had out of that, in that, on a good day, was 100 watts. But inside here,
What you really need is a glamorous assistant to turn that round.
I do.
Yeah.
With Debbie McGee. But apparently she won't do it. She says she's not going anywhere near me. I'll just put that over there, or else we're going to end up eating this, aren't we? Pop it open. There, of course, is your water resistant seal around there to stop the old moisture getting in. And in here is an 80 watt solar panel, which is much easier to get out if you stood on this side of the how's your father. And then we did get it out eventually, and that fits in there. And this is the 80 watt solar panel, where you have to have a degree or Nikola Tesla to fit it back in, but we'll show you that in a minute. Again, it's 4 panel, it's 80 watts, so they're 20 watts each. And now I'm going to pass it over to John, and he's going to talk about that for a minute.
Pop that lid open again, will you?
I'll do some lid popping. There we go.
Right, it has appeared on a few videos braced up on the lid like that. It's not the best idea in the world. Reason being is you've got this out in the sun, but that you've also ended up with this out in the sun, and it's not a good idea to keep batteries in the sun. Don't do them any good. So even though that can be used as a stand. The other thing about this panel, Monty actually had it commissioned specifically, that's the owner of the company by the way, specifically to fit inside that case, and he spared no expense on this. These are sun power cells, the best on the market, and a couple of people in America, where they get better sunshine than us, have actually achieved 80 watts out of this panel. And to get the full capacity out of a panel is practically unheard of, so it is a bloody good one, it really is.
Shall I do that floppy bit first?
Can do.
I'll do the folding away bit, like that. And that obviously fits back in there. So I might dig into my pocket and actually buy one of them as well, because they're 121, don't fit there. I've been using that, that's great.
You bought it, it's got dust on it now.
Is it second hand?
It is now.
Do I get a second hand rate?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
From the full retail, yeah.
Well, you knock a fiver off for me, yeah, I know you, John.
Yeah, a couple of quid off.
Right guys, girls, ladies, weirdos and wrong uns, we're going to look at it, trying to get this back in now. You've got to get this in exact for it to fit. What you don't want to do is, yeah, have little bits stuck up inside where it's stuck up like that, and then the catches here, you try and force them down, they snap off. It's happened to somebody, but that's what you get if you don't do it correctly. So, but it is a bit of a ball ache to get in, especially from this side. So what you've got to have is you've got to get your solar panel in there, but you've got to get it all in the box. If this works first time, I'll put the flag up. It does. Right, that's the easy part. Now you've got to fit it in there like that. That slot's in there, and you've got to have the wires at the top out of the way, and the MC4 connectors tucked away, but not behind the panel. Nothing behind the panel, else it won't close. And then it should close. Nope. There's something not quite right there.
You can just tell that little bit of resistance, can't you?
Yes, you just see it there. Hold that up.
Nailed it.
There we go.
Nailed it. Second attempt.
Ding dang do. So it's not that hard when you know what you're doing. Yeah. One day I might know what I'm doing. So we'll have a look at that now. We'll go and take. There's a little bit of sunlight coming down over there. There's a sun in the sky. You see, they've got one of them in Mallorca and it's dead hot. So we're going to pop over there where the sun is, and we'll stick the 2 solar panels on this. So I'll stick mine on, and then we'll stick the MONTEK one that's on inside, and we'll see what we can get out of it. Well, I'll shoot you.
You're pushing your luck a little bit. 5:20 tea time, but you'll get something.
Yeah, we'll get something.
Yeah.
A little bit of currant bun still going. We will get something. We might get.
If I'd have scraped my arse out of bed a bit earlier, we could have done midday sun, couldn't we?
And if you hadn't have got lost.
There's that. There is that. Yep.
When you see the signs for Brazil on the road, I knew we'd gone the wrong way. Right, to the sunny bit over there. Come on, sunny bit.
Sounded like to the back cave, didn't it? To the back.
Hey, do you think we should take the stuff with us as well?
Probably.
Right, so I've connected up the 120 watt, that one of mine, that Alicante. 55-21 connection there to MC4, and then the MC4 into the MONTEK. Right, so again, we are in England, so yeah, it's not very often the sun comes out here, so we've landed on a good day because it's been sunny for a couple of days. Yeah, it is now 5:30 in the afternoon, 17:30 hours, and that's drawing 52 watts. So that's drawing 52 watts from an 120 watt, but again, it's low in the sky.
Not bad at 5:30, is it?
And we're at 5:30 in the afternoon, so that's not too bad. So I'll just bring it down there, let's have a look. So it's just gone down to 51 watts. Obviously it's at 85%, it's gone down to 50 watts. So that's the input at the moment, and gone up to 51, so that's the 120 watt panel. Let's connect the MONTEK X1000 80 watt panel and see what that pulls in. So I've connected the MONTEK one there. I've leaned it up against the other one because it's got no legs on. But if you had legs on it, it won't fit in the case, would it? If it had legs, you wouldn't be able to close the case. So hence the reason for no legs on it. So you're going to have to find some other way of standing that up. Okay, which probably isn't that hard really, is it? Okay, so we've got that. I'm getting a bit sweaty here. It's 21 watts. It's drawing 21 watts. So that's the MONTEK one. Yeah, 80 watt. 22 watts now. 21. So 22, 21. We'll go and have a quick look at that. Obviously, I've got it in the shade. And there we go. 21 watts. Try and get where the sun's not glaring off it. There you go, 20 watts, 21 watts. So it's fluctuating between 20 and 22 watts. The other one was pulling 50, can't remember.
Now in America, where they've got proper sunshine, because they've got more money than us, lunchtime figures on that MONTEK panels being as high as 80 watts.
So as John said there, if you live somewhere where it's really sunny, you can get up to 80 watts, which is the full lot in it for an 80 watt panel. Happy days. And as you can see there, the difference between an 80 watt panel, 120 watt panel, and of course you get a bit of a free shadow from tripod.
rather warm. I've been in the sun again, look.
I was just going to say that. We've been over there, we just wobbled over there and wobbled back. And look at him, he's sweating like a dynamite man in a Baghdad sewer. Isn't he? Look at him. Yeah?
I'll be right in a minute.
I would tell people I spilt my drink, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I spilt my drink.
How did you spill your drink?
All down there, well, I missed my gob.
It looked like the bottle exploded or your drink exploded. Some form of explosion for it to go everywhere.
That's what it was. I put one of them sweets in a Coke bottle, a lot went in.
Oh, did you do a Mentos Coke thingy?
Did that.
You got covered in Coke?
Yeah. Now then, on my... because people know what you do, I've got a Facebook page for these things, MONTEK Solar Club, and every time I put any kind of video out, people always see that. My favourite thing in my van. So what we're doing at the minute is making a bit of toast. 700 watt toaster, plugged into Chris's unit, which is showing how many?
827 watts.
827 watts. It's an 800 watt toaster then. Might have got that wrong.
It's an 8. Well, we can check on the bottom. If you don't know about watts, guys, and you want to plug something into this or to anything, and you need to count your watts, have a look on the bottom, it'll tell you. A kettle in the house, mine's 2,500 watts. No good for this. Okay, microwave, I can't remember. But I tried it on this, and it's got a cutout. What's its name on it? What did I do? I tried it.
Can I stop you there 1 second?
What?
Is your flappage open on that side? Because we're running the fans. Ah.
Yes, it is.
More better. Good.
So, if you overload it, it'll stop it. It'll turn it off and tell you. Is that right?
Yes, fully automated. Many protection systems won't let you blow it up.
Happy days. And I was just going to say something, and I've forgotten what it is.
Right, yeah, I bet it was microwave ovens.
Microwave ovens, that's right. Thanks for reminding me, John. Microwave ovens, yes. It cuts it out, but it said it's overload, too much for that. But you can run your telly, run your Xbox, you can run all your lamps in your room, so if something does happen and there's a power cut of any shape or form, that will power stuff. Yeah.
Just one thing about microwaves, guys, because people get confused about them. If you've got an 800 watt microwave, you might be thinking, oh fine, I'll get one of these, it'll run my microwave in my camper van or whatever. It probably won't. An 800 watt microwave is 800 watts of cooking power, but the actual power going into that to produce that 800 could well be quite easily above the 1100 that this can cope with.
The surge.
Yeah, there is 1 or 2 microwaves that you can use on this, but what you need to do is check the specs with the maker to see what the input watts are, not the output. So it's just one worth. I can smell toast.
Hey, yes. Papa Rooney!
And I've spent my Bitcoin.
You what?
I had Bitcoin. I had half a million.
You got Lurpak?
Lurpak. I had half a million.
You didn't get the cheap Aldi silvery box version?
£500,000 of Bitcoin that cost me.
Did you?
Yep. Toast.
Get the butter on me bread, sir. Oh, happy days. I like to slice mine. I'm dead posh.
Is it? Wait a minute.
Falconeven F1.
You can't have a lot of
Made
this.
for the Swedish Air Force.
You can't have a lot of this butter because it's expensive.
Get it on there. I'll get it myself with me fancy Swedish Air Force bushcraft knife.
But it's, I mean, I do this at work. I can't not have toast. There you go, mate.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to have some Holy Ghost down my Gregory Peck. And for those across the pond, yeah, wondering what I'm talking about, it's army rhyming slang.
Pay me for that butter later. There's at least £2 worth on there.
I've got £1.50.
£2.
£1.50.
£2.
I've only got £1.50.
Oh, well, I'll accept that then. I'll have that.
I've got some pigeons over there. Do you want some of them?
I don't want pigeon.
They won't fly off, I promise you.
I don't want a squirrel kebab. I don't want pigeon
Rabbit?
fricassee. No, I don't want it.
It's free food and it's organic tree chicken.
Don't want it.
No?
Toast.
Okay.
What?
Cook's toast. Hey! As far as carp fishing goes, because obviously a lot of people watching this will be into the old carp fishing, that is your ultimate carp fishing power pack, isn't it? You go France for a week, yeah, that is the
Dog's bollock.
I was going to try and not say bollocks, I was going to say the much nuts or the dog's danglers, and you went and swore. He said bollocks.
How did
yeah. I can't, I'm not good at eating. We'll have a comedy of errors at the end. Right? But everything I do is outdoors. So if I need a power pack and one that's rain resistant If you watch out of the video that MONTEK did, he goes into the specifications in a lot more detail than we, because he's got all fancy gadgets and stuff. And he dunks it in his swimming pool or his jacuzzi. And he forgot to turn it off as well. So he dunked it in and he pulled it out and it was still running. And as John said earlier, he hoofed it off the back of his truck as well. Yeah. He got a few scratches on it, so he couldn't send it back apparently, so he kept hold of it. There we go. There we go. The MONTEK X1000. Once we've finished our Holy Ghost, John's going to do a comparison with that and the other one, or should we do a comparison against some vegetation? I reckon that'll win every time against nettles and brambles.
Weeds?
Weeds, yeah. I reckon that'll beat it.
Alright, I love it.
Yeah. I bet you can't get any electricity out of them weeds.
I'm going to put that back in my fridge because it's expensive, that.
Is it? What's powering your fridge? Nothing at the moment. No. Yeah. Oh. Right, so packing this away now.
You enjoy your toast?
Yeah, it was lovely, mate.
Good.
I like a nice bit of goalie toast. Goalie toast in the woods.
Excellent.
Are you nicking my socket?
It's mine.
I'll let you off then. Right, so, in a nutshell then, guys. Go on, John.
What?
I don't know, talk about something.
Oh, I see. Right. Well, what I wanted to talk about, I need to get rid of these for a minute.
Yeah, we'll come back to these in a minute.
I found Monty.
Yeah, he's flogged me one of them and all.
What?
Them.
Yeah, more about that in a minute. I found Monty a couple of years ago on the trade pages in the Far East, and I really liked what he was doing. And at that time, a couple of years ago, he was making this, and pretty much making this one by hand. This is the prototype. This is the first unit that ever came into the country. Let's get that up on the table. You'll see it looks ever so much like Chris's one, because the case has not changed that much, but no logo on it. This was sent out for testing. If you watch Hobotek's videos, he's done a couple of videos on these. The earlier one, he also got one of these prototype units. I got this one a couple of weeks before his turned up. If you look at his video, you can see how far back that is. It's around about 2 years ago. But this unit, it has problems. It does have one or two issues. The flaps that you need to open up, the springs are a little bit too tight on those. The other thing there was a bit of a problem with it, I mentioned it earlier I think, was that if you were car charging it, it was accepting too many amps and burning out the cigarette plug in the dashboard of your car, because the internal settings on this were too high, which is not the case on the new unit. And also, again, if you watch Tom Botek's review about the display there, I think he called it the guesstimeter, because the display was wired directly to read the voltage of the battery. So when you put a toaster on it, for example, let's say it had 90% charge, as you put that 700-800 watt load on it, the charge number would drop massively as the voltage went down, and then recover when the toaster had switched off. Sure, he referred to it as a guesstimeter. All of those problems have been fixed, and fixed very well. When you get to the, and Chris has put it on the table, God, they are bloody heavy. They're heavy when you sat down, aren't they?
Yeah. 11 kilos.
That now is the 2022 retail unit, which is rock solid. All the problems have been fixed, absolutely bang on. And that's one of the things I like about Monty, the guy that owns the company. He's always trying to improve, and he's got to the point now where that cannot get any better. It is absolutely superb. But having said that, you notice I've still got the first one that was ever in the UK. This is the one I use in my van every day. So this one is actually 2 years old and still absolutely spot on, apart from its one or two little quibbles. That's me done now. I'm having a fag break.
Oh yeah, happy days. Right, so what I'll do, guys, I'll put in the description, that's what they say, don't they? In the description below, I'll put a link. So I'll put a link to them MONTEK videos, and something in there where you can get hold of John. That's John. Yeah.
MONTEK.
Oh, your Facebook doodah. You've got one of them, haven't you?
MONTEK Solar Club.
I'm not on Facebook. I only do YouTube, so I'm not on Facebook. But John is, and he's got his own group on there, and it's full of people who like these, apparently. I don't know, I'm not on Facebook. But there it is, MONTEK Solar Club. yeah, and yeah.
But you, being a customer, what do you think of it?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it. What I like about this, because of course you've seen my videos before, guys. I've seen this, yeah. I've seen all the other generators, the old power generators, like the Bluettis and the Jackeries and things like that. But they're all open. They're all open. I mean, I'm out in the woods, yeah, wild camping, bushcraft, things like that. I'm always out here, so water resistant was the thing, and because it's nice compact, and also, yeah, it's shockproof as well, isn't it? So, you know, it's going to get battered about. And plus the other ones, they're all open. You get a bit of rain in there, it's going to go straight into it. This, you've got some form of water protection. So when I saw it, yeah, I thought, oh, shall I get one? So I researched it, yeah, and then I bought one. So as I said earlier, guys, I have bought it, yeah. I've not been given it for free, yeah, for doing this.
You're bleeding right, you haven't?
Yeah.
I can't afford to.
I had to pay for mine, but of course, well, I've paid for it now, so I can turn around and review it. And because I paid for it, yeah, if it was good, it's good. If it was bad, it's bad. And as I said earlier, if it was a bag of shite, it's a bag of shite. But it's not. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and it goes everywhere in my car, behind the driver's seat. And again, at the moment in this weather, it's powering my fridge. But everything, I can power anything on that. Anything I use out here, I can power for it. The only thing that I can't power with that is my gas cooker, because that's powered by gas and not electricity. But really, if I really wanted to push the boat out, I could play Xbox, bring my telly out and play Xbox in the woods, but that's not going to happen because I go into woods to get away from stuff like that. Yeah. Right, so on that note, we're going to pack everything away and hopefully I can blag John to making me some more toast. What's the chance of me getting some more toast, John?
It's all in the van. It's all in the van. We're having a quick chat about them.
Might as well. Let's have a quick look at these guys. Back in 2 shakes of a donkey's doodah. So, for carp anglers, you might recognise these. Okie dokie. Obviously, they're a hell of a lot more compact. But John just happens to be, what do you call it? A distributor, UK distributor. And I bought one of these as well. Yes, I did buy it. Yeah, I've got one here, so it's a little bit more portable. Yeah,
Scruffy and all.
It is, because it's had a bit of hammer. Yeah, mine's had a bit of hammer. Okay, so yeah, we'll have a look at that, and have a look at that.
That one you might recognise.
If you're a carp angler.
Yep. Apart from there's some writing missing off the front. Fox Halo. Anybody that owns one of those might recognise that. That is called the GP30. This is called the GP50. And basically the Merpower units. So both of these come from a factory in China called Merpower. And then people buy hundreds of them and they have the name stuck on the front, which is what Fox did with that one. I don't know if they're doing that one, I'm not sure. But that's the upgraded model. But we're not talking about it now, are we? You're going to do that later, aren't you?
We can do that in another video.
No.
So again, might be more down the old carp angler's way. Yeah, for an overnighter. USBs, 12 volt sockets, solar. Well, these are anyway. You can plug a 5521 into there, solar power. It's got a solar charge controller in it. Happy days. But that is for another video. On that note, we're putting kettle on.
Yeah. Why not?
As long as it's below 1000 watts, we'll be alright.
Gas. My crappy gas cooker that you were on about just then.
Wait till we go into the love hut, mate.
I'm not
I've
doing
got
it.
15 kilos of butane in there, baby.
I'm not going in your bleeding love hut.
You want to come in my love hut?
No.
Not even for a minute?
No.
Oh, come in for a bit of peril.
No.
Oh, only a little bit of peril.
Anyway, it's been nice to see you.
Yeah. All right, John, see ya.
We've actually finished that and having a bit of a drink and a fag and what, but I've just realised, being a pair of old numpties, we've forgotten to put some. Well, Chris forgot to put it in.
I'm a numpty, but he's a sweaty old numpty.
Oh, look. It's bloody warm though, isn't it? Just forgot to mention that it's NMC batteries inside there, 2,000 cycles down to 80%, which basically means you can discharge it, recharge it, that's one cycle, 2,000 times, and then the battery will be down to 80% of its original capacity after that. which, if you think about it, if you cycle it every single day for approximately 6 years, which you're probably not going to do, that would account for those 2,000 cycles. Doesn't mean it's knackered at the end of that. It's still got 80% efficiency, and again after 2,000 it would then drop down to 60%.
What type of battery is it?
NMC.
And what does that mean?
You're going to try and make me remember now. It's nickel, manganese, cobalt.
Okay, well, is there any good points, bad points for that?
You can squeeze an awful lot of capacity into a small space. A lot of people will be thinking, I'd quite like it to be lithium iron phosphate. Fine, you get more cycles out of lithium iron phosphate, but the batteries are heavier and they take up more room. And one of the things that had to be done with that unit was to make it compact,
like
easy to carry. So there's a lot of power in a small space. But he's managed to get 2,000 cycles from an NMC because of the C rate. It could actually output at 3C, but he's only outputting at 1C. So he's not stressing the batteries with the circuitry inside, therefore they last longer. Alright.
Yes, and one last thing, John.
Go on.
Where the chuff did you get them socks from?
Socks. Primark. But they haven't got that.
You've been wearing them all June, haven't you?
Yep. They're not my jazziest ones, to be fair. But yeah. You've got to have a bit of colour, haven't you?
I think that's a bit too much colour.
You don't like my socks? You don't like my socks, do you? I don't care. Cut.
So it's the next day, it's Sunday, and it is 1:45 in the afternoon. I've been running the 120 watt instead of card as usual, and that's pumping out 63 watts, and we're on 61%. I've been running that fridge all weekend, charged a few other bits and bobs, but the fridge has been going since Friday afternoon, and obviously I ain't been getting charged overnight with the solar. So 33 watts going out, DC to the fridge, 61% power in the unit, and there's 62, 63 coming in from the 120 watt solar panel, so it's about half its capacity. Happy days. Nom nom nom. Going. Oh, I trumped.
You've got to leave that in.
My sphincter ain't what it used to be.